Alright, I am back and mildly frustrated because I just recorded this whole video without sound for a full 16 minutes or so. So welcome to YouTube life. I guess that has probably happened to everyone at one point, and there is no feeling quite like it when you go to edit the footage and there's nothing there. So hopefully I have avoided that this time and you can hear me. I had a corgi in the shot the first time I shot this, and now she's gone, so I'm sorry. We'll see if she wanders back in. Today, this is a Destiny 2 video, and yet I am focusing mainly on another game, Marvel's Avengers, the beta for which was this weekend on PS4, and then it was a closed beta on Xbox and PC. I played the press PS4 beta a couple weeks ago, and then I played on PC this time, and I will end up running some footage from that. A disclaimer about that video, it's pretty low level. I'm just starting out in that video with Hulk, so I don't have all his combos, so he's doing the same moves kind of over and over again because you just don't have that many tools. My loot's low, my power's low. He's just not really upgraded yet, so don't fully judge things just based on that gameplay, but I just wanted to run it to show you at least some sense of what combat's like, what the game looks like, and stuff like that. So that'll be running sometime as I talk here, and we'll see what you think of it if you haven't played it yourself yet. The reason I'm bringing it up is because this game is a looter, surprisingly, which no one really thought was going to be the case when it was first announced. Everyone assumed it would be kind of Spider-Man, Batman, something like that, those existing games where you're just, you're in an open world and you're saving people and there's story missions, whatever. This is a loot-based games of service game, and it is fully embracing that. And there are some things about that make sense with the genre, with all the different characters you can use as classes, and some things that don't quite make sense, like the loot aspect of it, which I'll get to. But the point I'm trying to establish here is if this game can work as a Destiny substitute, because we are headed into a whole lot of downtime in Destiny 2. Beyond Light's not till November. It is August. We only have two things on the roadmap, which is the Rest of Solstice and Festival of the Lost, and pretty much nothing in September, right when this debuts, September 4th. So if you like it, this could be an alternative to Destiny during that time, and possibly a supplement to it, in the longer term, which is obviously what they're trying to accomplish here. Is it similar to Destiny, being a looter? I think there are different ways to approach this question. I'll go through a few of them. The first is gameplay. Gameplay is not similar at all. Destiny is a tight, great-feeling shooter. Avengers is a arcadey brawler. And when there is shooting, it's just like a special move, like Black Widow's pistols or something. It's not remotely the same kind of shooting as Destiny. I remember in development a long time ago, there was a first-person Avengers game being made, but it got scrapped, which was probably a good thing, because first-person Hulk hands smashing, I can't really see that going well. This game is more like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, where you are in a team of heroes, you are using different powers. I think this aspect of it really works. There are 6 characters you can play in the beta, and all of them felt very, very different from each other and really fun in various ways. Even though Hulk and Black Widow are both melee fighters, they fight obviously way differently. Thor throws his hammer, Captain America throws his shield, but again, they did not play similar at all. So they really do seem to have designed a lot of unique movesets here. And that is, it's more distinction between classes than you'd get between, say, Warlock and Hunter and Titan. It's just, with different types of grenades and supers and stuff. And I know Destiny's all about its class identities, but this seems like it's going to be building up a pretty big roster of heroes that you can invest in and level and stuff. We only got access to 1 skill tree in the beta out of 3 for each character, and we could not max it. But even just through 15 skill points, the first 15, you really started to feel combat open up. You got a lot more combos. You could do a lot more cool things, executions, aerial juggling. Like it's very fun. And even if it's not Destiny, it's not first-person shooting, I found it enjoyable. And it's kind of the big draw for me getting to play more. I really ended the beta. I maxed all the characters on PS4, and I wish I could play more with Thor and Captain America, which now I'm looking forward to doing that in the full game. Mechanically, the types of missions and stuff we're getting here do not seem to be quite on the same level as Destiny. And by not quite, I mean not really remotely close from what I'm seeing so far. There's nothing like raids or dungeons or really even some of the mildly complicated strike mechanics. It's most all these puzzles have to be designed for a single player because you have 3 AI teammates if you're playing solo, and they don't do anything. I mean, they fight in combat, they use your gear, they use your leveling, which is cool. I like that aspect of it, but they don't help you in terms of objective-based things. Like if there are plates to stand on, they will not do that. If there are servers to destroy, they will not help you. Like you have to do everything yourself. So that kind of limits the amount of complicated mechanics I think they can put in the game. So you're not seeing anything like raids or dungeons here. I don't know what else is not in the beta that maybe is more complicated, and I wouldn't expect them to show off everything here, but that is something I noticed that Destiny players may not really like if it's just a little overly simplistic. The most Destiny-like thing is clearly what Avengers is trying to capture, which is the loot and leveling aspect. The skill trees, I said, they're good. I'm really looking forward to kind of maxing all the characters and seeing what they're capable of. The loot is more of a question mark, I think. It's the way the game's handling loot is very weird because you have like 4 main gear slots and then a couple artifacts, and none of these objects you're getting physically show up on your character. The way you look is completely defined by microtransactions in the store or skins you can earn through gameplay. There's a battle pass. I'm not clear on if that's free or not with the game, but there's a lot of skins in that. That's the only way you change your appearance. The gear you're finding, even if you're finding like a new belt for Black Widow, you put it on, it doesn't change your belt. There's like a little hologram that hovers over your belt, but it doesn't actually change the look of your belt. It just gives you better stats and it gives you some perks. So this is like Anthem in that your armor does not affect how you actually look, but Anthem at least had guns, so you would pick up guns and those would look like something, but that is not true in Avengers. You will not get new Iron Man gauntlets that look different, or Black Widow pistols or things like that. Like you are not getting loot in that sense. So I think that's going to be a little jarring for some people because pretty much a signature of most looters is seeing the loot that you get. In some games like Borderlands, there is no armor in Borderlands, but it's a first-person shooter, so you're always seeing the gun that you found in front of you shooting. Anthem has its guns, Diablo has its armor sets, Destiny obviously has its armor sets and guns. This does seem like a bit of an oversight in terms of the way loot works, and it's almost like, why does it exist at all? I guess the reason it exists is the perks. It's the beta. I don't think you can judge any game's loot by its beta. Obviously, think back to the Destiny betas, and you couldn't really. I think they gave you one exotic maybe to play around with in the Destiny 2 beta. The Destiny 1 beta had like nothing, so I'm not going to fully judge the loot yet. But there are some interesting abilities and perk combinations I've seen. If you damage an enemy with gear that has Pym particles, like Hank Pym, it shrinks the enemy and lowers their stats, which is cool. And there's just little things like that. I got a legendary bracer or something for Black Widow that increased her auto pistol stun damage. So what that did is it made me able to, if you hit enemy with enough stun damage, you can execute them. So it made getting executions like a lot faster, and that gives you health back and does a lot of damage and stuff like that. So that was just one legendary drop, so maybe there are cooler ones to come, more specialized ones for the characters. So again, like there's some weird things about loot, but it could also work. And I did find myself enjoying the chase, and I had to restrain myself from not grinding too hard in the beta because none of that progress carries over to the main game. But the fact that I wanted to grind that hard is kind of a big deal, because if I just wasn't interested at all, I wouldn't have felt that. And now I want to keep going, and I want to max characters and see what they feel like at higher levels. So that's cool. The final aspect is longevity. And this is something that Avengers seems like it's baking in from the start. I don't know the total size of the game when it launches, but it will have, a good amount of substantive story missions, kind of like the early ones from the beta with actual cutscenes and actual plot and stuff. So it seems like it'll be a full game in that regard, but they are planning to add a whole bunch of free updates, free missions, free characters. There's a data mine list of 17 characters they may end up adding to the game if that list is being read correctly. And that's got everyone on it from Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch. There's a ton, and there's a couple have been announced already, like Hawkeye and PS4 exclusive Spider-Man, which is a huge bummer. But the point is that it seems like maybe okay, you've played, you've maxed your character. Here's 3 more characters we're adding or something. So that could be engaging over the long term. And again, I think we need to know a lot more about the endgame activities other than just these kind of buzzword names like hives and villain lairs, and I don't know what that exactly translates to. I've said before, most looters screw up their launch to some degree, and especially in terms of endgame. And for a company that has never designed a game like this before, it's probably even more so in the cards. And I understand why there's a lot of Anthem comparisons, because BioWare made Anthem. They never made a loot shooter before, a loot game. So they didn't really understand how an end game is supposed to work. Avengers is arriving even later than Anthem, so hopefully they learned some lessons from that. But Destiny 1, Destiny 2, Diablo 3, Anthem, like Division 1, all of these games did not really have a robust end game at launch. So if Avengers doesn't, I'm not fully going to hold that against it, and that seems like something that they may be able to build out over time. Overall, I had a lot of fun with the beta, if I'm being honest. I've seen this game being very divisive among people that have played it, which is unusual. It's almost kind of like a 50-50 split. And these are Destiny players, like my friends and followers and stuff that have played it and have been talking about it online. Some Destiny players really dig it and see its potential. Some are just immediately turned off by it. They think it's too repetitive or the loot's pointless or whatever, but it seems like something you're going to have to try yourself maybe, or watch. I will say it does not look very good in motion. Like, I know you're seeing the gameplay here, and like I'm not the master of rendering things expertly and making sure the frames are perfect and stuff, but it plays a lot better than it looks. That is one thing I will say about it. So next weekend there's an open beta. I would suggest probably checking that out yourself. It's across all platforms. It is, quote, only a like 27 gig download or something, so less than your average Call of Duty patch. And let me know what you think, or if you already played it, let me know in the comments. This seems to me like something that will occupy most of my time in September, when there is probably not going to be much to do in Destiny. Obviously, that would have been Beyond Light, and then that would have been much harder to justify. But now that we have 2.5 months until Beyond Light, it's kind of coming at the perfect time. And the next game to check out in this genre is Godfall. I don't think that looks amazing from what I've seen, but it's again, same genre. I think there's Outriders is the other loot one that's coming too. So there are some options here. I think Avengers has a boost over all these games and past failures like Anthem because of the Marvel IP. And there's just something about these characters are iconic, and then getting to use these like really cool, their movesets and abilities and stuff in a game like this is inherently a lot of fun, and I think a lot of people will enjoy it for the most part, even if they don't really get into the loot or XP aspect of it, which I think I might, but we'll see. Yeah, so that's all I got. Sorry, no Corgi, she wasn't in this time. I'm mourning for that original video, but maybe this one was better, who knows. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.